back again for another review, but this time it's for the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Oakland Athletics, Vladdy Guerrero Jr.'s MLB debut. The Blue Jays win 4-2, and they're 1-0 in the Vladdy Guerrero era. We may never lose again, guys. We may never lose again, but let me tell you, it was a good game by a lot of the players on the team. They picked up where Vladdy showed them to go, and you can definitely know that this team is on the come up. It may not be this year, it may not be next year, but it's going to be very soon that this team is on that level, is where they need to start being. So, we'll start off in the first inning. We'll talk about what the scoring plays were, then we'll talk about, well, of course, Vladdy's debut, but another star of the game that, I think you know who I was about to talk about. But first, in the bottom of the first, Eric Sogard hits a solo home run to give the Jays the early 1-0 lead. Eric Sogard, I gotta say, this man is doing great. I thought when the Jays picked him up, he'd be not waste of time, but a backup. The dude's doing better than what anybody expected him to do. So there's good for him. Good for him. Good for him. I can't complain. I can't complain about Eric Sogard. I think he's doing way better. I don't know if it's gonna last, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Now, bottom of the third inning. Randall Grichuk, RBI single, gets the Jays up to 2-0. And Marcus Stroman just keeps shutting them out on the defensive side. 1 hit, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 7 innings. The dude was on fire. He's back. He's back. Just like he was in 2017. The man is back. The man is back. No shoulder problems. No blister problems. He's back. He's back. Oh, and by the way, I'll talk about him now before we get to the rest of this. A little secret here. He's leading the AL in ERA. He's leading the AL in ERA. 1.41 ERA through 6 starts. The dude is leading the AL in ERA. Give him props. Give him what he deserves. Dude's doing good. Can't complain. I'm definitely not going to complain, but dude's on fire. That's all. That's all. Dude's on fire. Let's keep on moving. Now, in the top of the 7th. Top of the 8th. Top of the 8th, because Joe Biagini, Joe gives up a 2-run home run, tied up, right back at it, and he coughs up a win for Stroh, because he just does. He just does. Let me tell you something about Joe Biagini, and I like Joe as a person. He seems like a cool person. He seems like a good person to have a beer with, shoot the breeze with. Not a problem with that. Joe seems like a great guy. I'd love to shoot the breeze with him, and I still like Joe Biagini, but the reason I like him is his personality, because the past 2 years, he's been utter trash. Ever since they tried to turn him into a starter in 2017, and he came back, and then it just went all down to whatever. Last year, 2017, I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt because they were trying to turn him into a starter, and it was just like, why are they doing that? But let's see what they do. But he's never been able to get consistent in the bullpen like he was back in 2016. It's just, they shouldn't have done it. I thought maybe it would be good to try to make him into a starter, but I thought it was a good idea at first, too. Everybody did, but I didn't think it was going to make him into this. Sometimes he's a vegetable, and sometimes he's on fire. But he has, streaks. He has a bad streak, then a good streak. A bad streak, then a good streak. At least he's not Brett Cecil, because dude still has good streaks. Great streaks, even. Brett Cecil was just utter trash, and still is utter trash. And yes, if you ever heard booing from behind home plate during the second Blue Jays-Cardinals game in 2017, that was me. That was me. And yes, he deserved to go to the Cardinals. And he's even worse now than he was back in 2017. Never liked him. Okay, never liked him. But Brett Cecil, per se. That was me. Now, let's talk about the Vladdy at-bats before we get into this final sequence for the winning runs. Because, yeah, I think that's that's what we should do. So first at-bat for Vladdy Guerrero Jr. He grounds out to the first baseman with a 106-mile-per-hour exit velocity. That was the hardest hit ball of the game, and the guy nearly hit a home run. And that was the hardest hit ball of the game. The guy nearly hit a home run. This close. Guy nearly hit a home run. Nope, the ground ball was the hardest hit ball of the game. A ground ball. I mean, I'm not saying I'm surprised, but just kind of weird, you know? Dude almost hits a home run, but the ground ball has a higher exit velocity than the home run. Maybe if it had a little bit higher of an exit velocity, it would have been gone. And maybe a little bit higher of maybe a little bit lower of the launch angle, maybe it would have been gone. But yes. Oh, now we'll get to that. Second at bat, near home run, hits a high one, hits a long one. With the way they had the camera on Sportsnet, I thought that was about to leave the stadium and go to Pickering. It would go through the roof and go to Pickering. That's what I thought. That's how far that ball was looking like it was going to go. But Chad Pinder makes a great catch. All props to him. I guess he wants to see the world burn. But all props to him. Good catch. You know what it is. Third at bat, lines out to an infielder. And then the fourth at bat, which we're into the current ninth inning. Bottom of the ninth. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. hits it up the line. Vladdy just hits it up the line with a great reach. Hits it up the line past the first baseman. Double. First MLB hit for Vladdy Jr. And it's a great moment. It's a great moment. It's a moment that all of us can have. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but this is the first ever homegrown prospect the Blue Jays have developed to be a great hitter. Yeah, Roy Halladay is a pitcher, but they've never had a hitter, homegrown prospect, that would actually or could very likely pan out. But let's be honest. I think we all know Vladdy's going to pan out. This guy's not like he's on the verge of being like, oh, this guy has a very good chance of panning out. This guy is going to pan out. You look at what he did in this game. Great plate discipline. Knows what his strike zone is and only swings at pitches that he knows he could do damage or somewhat do damage with. Even with a jam, even getting jammed, he almost hit a home run. Almost. This close. Dude knows what his plate discipline is. Dude knows. And I'm a person who's never really played the sport or any sport that I cover. I'm a blogger boy, if you'd like to say that, or a vlogger boy, whatever you want to say, or a talking head. But I can even see this dude is like young Albert Pujols. This dude is like his father. This dude is like Miguel Cabrera. This dude is like David Ortiz. And I'm not saying Spanish players' names because he's Spanish or Dominican. I'm just saying those names because those are some of the players that you would compare to Vladdy, just so you know, because outrage culture and all that. I can't think of a person who isn't one of those players to compare to Vladdy. Donaldson is not as good as Vladdy is. Jose Bautista is not Vladdy. Edwin is not Vladdy. This guy's better than all three, and this is just his first MLB game. He should have been up last year. Let's be honest. Everybody wanted it. Everybody knew it. But Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins are the worst management team in all of baseball. I miss Alex Anthopoulos. Oh, and by the way, guess who signed Vladdy Guerrero? I'll give you a second. Yeah, Alex Anthopoulos. AA, yeah, he signed him. He signed him. Not Mark Shapiro, not Ross Atkins, not the Yes Man and the Cleveland Man. Alex Anthopoulos. Home country boy. Canadian boy. Good old Canadian boy. Not Toronto boy, but good old Canadian boy. Got a little bit Don Cherry there, but hey, good old Canadian boy. Alex Anthopoulos. Could Vladdy technically play for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic? I know he probably wouldn't, but hey, what if he did pull a Stroh? No, Stroh's from America, even though he has Puerto Rican heritage. That may not pull off, but that would be like awesome to see Vladdy in red and white. Like no question, no question, no question. Yeah. Can he? Yeah, no question. Yeah. So, back to the point. He gets pulled for a pinch runner, and that ends his night, but the double was a good way to end it. Alan Hansen is put in as the pinch runner. There was a bunt by Billy McKinney. Moves Hansen to third. Teoscar Hernandez hits a good one to second, but Jurickson Profar just puts his hand out, and I think Jurickson Profar, if we're talking about the other side, he's finally performing like they said he would. Jurickson Profar is on the come up. Trust. And finally, with 1 out left in the 9th inning, Brandon Drury has a great at bat, hits a homer, hits a homer. 2-run homer, wins the game. Blue Jays win 4-2. And I've got some things to say. But, yeah, I don't really... Should I do an Oakland if I were you? Yeah, I'll do it. Oakland, if I were you, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad. You played a pretty good game. Mike Fiers kept you in it. No question, Marcus Stroman kept y'all. You couldn't do anything off of him, but if you got 3 runs off of Joe Biagini, which I wouldn't have been surprised. Yeah. Mike Fiers kept y'all in that game, so be happy about that. And also some of the great defensive plays. Pinder, Profar. Come on. Y'all got a good team. And I can see it coming up, good spot. In the future, around the Blue Jays. I could see it. Semien, Profar, Pinder, Laureano, Kendall Graveman, a Mississippi State boy, by the way. Hail State. I was born in Mississippi, so get off my back for that, by the way. If you get to this point. Hail State. And by the way, we traded him to you for Josh Donaldson. So, Blue Jays former prospect and Mississippi State boy. Why'd we not give away Chad Gerardo and gave away Graveman? I would have rather kept the other one. They're both state boys, but I would have rather kept Graveman, but I guess that's what would have got us Donaldson. I think that's what got us Donaldson. And Brett Laurie. A good old Canadian boy. Some mistakes there, but now we've developed our own third baseman. So we don't need to hunt in your shadows for anybody, so you should be fine. Good luck, Oakland. You're gonna need it, but you should have it. You're a good team. Now, Toronto Blue Jays fans, I have something to say about Vladdy's debut. I know some people are complaining like, oh my, Vladdy didn't do that well. Oh, he only got 1 hit and nearly a home run, but that was still an out. So if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. And it wasn't and he only had 2 defensive plays, and they weren't really that spectacular. They were routine. I mean, I don't think he really needed to work on his defense. That was just a lie, but yeah. It was a good game. if you look inside each at-bat, he didn't have horrible swings. He didn't get pressured into horrible swings or horrible takes. He took what he knew he had to take, and if it was a strike, it was a strike. There was that one BS call in the 9th. That wasn't a strike. It was like 2 inches off. That was not a strike. No, that was not a strike. That was just no, it wasn't. But Vladdy knows when to take and he knows when to swing. Dude wasn't pressured into it by the crowd, that sold-out crowd. Dude has a lot of maturity on his shoulders for a 20-year-old, who, by the way, is 1 year older than me. The dude is 1 year older than me. Kind of weird, fam. It's kind of weird. Not gonna lie. But speaking of that, I was just gonna say, if you look in his performance, it's a way better game than some people who just look at the box score or just look at what happens would know. So there's that. But, final thought before I end this. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is the prospect for the new era of the Toronto Blue Jays. He is the man. He is the guy. He is the one of the two faces of the franchise. You know I'm not going to say Stroh isn't. You know I'm a Stroh fan. Probably one of his biggest. Maybe an apologist even. I don't know. Whatever. But one of the two faces of the franchise. But definitely the face of the franchise on the offensive side. On the offensive hitting. Home runs. And even stellar plays at third. But this guy, for people like there's probably a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old out there who just watched this game and said, either they are in Canada and they're a Blue Jays fan, they just don't really know it yet, or they're like me, a guy living outside of Toronto or anywhere else, like my situation, who's from a whole faraway state and ends up watching a game and watches this generational talent and decides, I'm going to be a Toronto fan, or a Toronto Blue Jays fan at least, but a Toronto fan. That was me with Roy Halladay. I became a Toronto Blue Jays fan because of the generational talent Roy Halladay. And that's why I'm here today, to talk about this game. Because Roy Halladay brought me, I saw him start one game. I think he had it was an 8-inning shutout, one-hitter. And the dude was just on fire. And I thought the Jays were a good team because I think they actually had won that game. But they weren't. But Roy Halladay, there was just something about him that I'd either watch the game if I could or listen to it back at that time. I did have XM radio, like the actual XM radio that you bought to put in your house with all the MLB package. It wasn't in a car, it was actually in your house, back when they had those. And I definitely listened to a couple of Toronto games back then, but to just see I could visualize it. See what Halladay did. Vladdy is like that. My point is Vladdy Guerrero is like that. There are people in my situation or kids in Canada who have watched this game and that's the team without a shadow of a doubt I'm going to follow because of this generational talent. Baseball or any sport is defined by the talent that you want to see on your team. It's not just how your team plays. It's just not how the players play. If there's a player that you love for some reason, one reason or another, if it's the generational talent or just somebody that's there because you think they're cool, that's why. That's why you watch the game. That's why people play the game, is to emulate their heroes. Now me, I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't. But I didn't emulate Roy Halladay. I didn't emulate Matt Sundin. I played T-ball for 1 year when I was 6, but that's a story for a different day. I didn't emulate Tom Brady. I didn't emulate Vince Carter. I didn't emulate Danny Dichio. or Dwayne De Rosario. I did not emulate those people. But these kids who are watching Vladdy right now and it gets them brought into baseball is better for the sport. It's great for Canadian baseball. It's great for baseball all around the world. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., I know people are like, you're a Blue Jays fan. You're overstating this. And you just want to say something that applies to you because it's your channel. Well, it is my channel. But think about it. It actually is big for baseball because if people nationally televised on MLB Network and in Canada and in the Dominican Republic, I'd probably assume, this guy is history for baseball. This guy is a big thing for baseball. This will get more kids at 5 years old and 4 years old and 6 years old to get into the sport of baseball. And that's a good thing. Canada, US, Dominican, anywhere. This guy is good for baseball. Great for baseball. Just like Ronald Acuna. Just like Dansby Swanson. Just like any big prospect that pans out. Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, those types of guys. That's what Vladdy Guerrero, but even on a bigger scale, because this Vladdy has a name that's recognizable. Most of these names, and I'm not saying he did it because of the name, he proves way beyond his name he deserved to be #1 prospect. He did it because of how he played. The name is just that little sweetener. It's like, oh, you're a Guerrero, you're Vladdy's son, and you're just as good, maybe even better as your father. Sweetener. It's not because of the name, no. It's recognizable because of the name, but then you watch the talent and be like, oh my, they were right. Because he is a master of the sport and he is on fire. We've been waiting since 2016 to see this guy at the Sky Dome. And we finally saw him, and I think he played up to expectations. I don't know about you, but I think he did. So, Blue Jays win 4-2 on Vladdy's first game. The Vladdy opener, the VladDay opener. The true home opener of the season, let's be honest. And we may never lose again. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Share it. Put some in the comments. Hey, subscribe. Tell all your friends that Vladdy Guerrero is about to take over Major League Baseball. And we're all for the better for it. I'm Ron and I'm out. Peace.